What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a video game show where we talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined across the power of the internet by my co-host, Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
How are you this fine day?
I am actually very cold. I forgot to adjust my
Cold?
thermostat. Yeah, I forgot to adjust my thermostat because I keep it colder at night, and now I'm sitting here, and it's not like my normal cold hours, and I'm like, it's so chilly. This is very unpleasant.
What is your optimal sleeping temperature?
My optimal sleeping temperature is like 72. Exactly.
Oh, perfect. That's
My
right.
daytime temperature is 80. I keep it at 80
What?
here. Yeah, I stay nice and warm.
Oh my
I get cold
God.
very easily.
That's so warm. Oh man, I'm like, we have our set. We do 72 at night too, because that is just like the perfect sweet spot for that cool temperature. But no, during the day, like in the mornings, I won't turn on the AC just because it's not super hot yet outside, but it does by like noon. And then that's when I have to crank on the AC, or else I'm just sitting in my house sweating all day, and that's just no fun. Just no fun at all.
Well, I don't know what to say. I have thin blood.
I wish I was
blood.
naturally cooler because that would be, oh man, that would solve so many of my problems.
Well, you and Sam though, you also have a very firm layer of fender and birdie fur, like as extra house insulation. So I imagine it retains heat.
That's very true. That's very true. I wouldn't doubt that at all. But yes, so here on Team Chat Podcast, we are here to talk about games, and new episodes come out on Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Central Time, and you can listen to those on podcast services around the World Wide Web. You can also find us on social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can join our Discord server. Links for all that are in the description below. And finally, if you're really loving the show and would like to help us make the show bigger and better, you can do just that by going to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And in return, we'll give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before the general Tuesday release, access to a private patrons only channel on our Discord server. Check that out over at patreon.com/teamchatpodcast. But if you can't do that, that's no big deal at all. We totally would love it if you could still help us support the show by, writing us reviews, telling your friends, sharing us on across social media. All that stuff helps make the show bigger and better as well. We are very appreciative and love all of our listeners and patrons alike. Thank you all. Hearts emojis.
And word of mouth does really help us. Obviously, we don't advertise this, so tell your friends. Super big help.
Pew, pew. Be great.
Pew pew, finger guns.
But today, everyone, we're going to be bringing some great gaming discussion around the announcements and reveals that were put out at Gamescom 2020 this year. So we're going to be going through a recap of some, not everything that was announced, because some of the games we didn't necessarily have much thought to, but we wanted to go through some of our favorites announcements and favorite updates that we got on some upcoming games that are coming out this year. But before we do that, though, we got to get a moment with Mogan to find out what is coming out soon, because a lot of those games are pretty far away.
Yeah. So rounding out the end of this month, on August 31st, yesterday just came out Descenders for the Nintendo Switch. And then as of today's air date, September 1st, all of the following are out. Ari and the Secret of Seasons for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Crusader Kings 3 for PC only. Hitman for Stadia. Hitman 2 also for Stadia. Oh. Wow. Look at these Stadia releases.
Stadia's finally getting something.
Super old games. Stadia is baffling, and I'm just waiting for them to say that they're not going to support it anymore. It is not going well.
I bet they try to hang on throughout the first year of next gen, and then I think if they can't really get a foothold by then I bet they're going to have to do something different.
With new gen right around the corner, I have no idea. They can't compete now.
No.
How are they going to compete once everything else is out?
Yep.
So that's a conversation for another time. Oh, we should eventually do like Stadia in memoriam.
Once it's finally, once it's
like a little
it's not around anymore.
Stadia. I'm imagining it being
very
dramatic. Like we'll go outside and take one of their little controllers and just like put it in the ground.
Bury it.
Just bury it. Contact Google and be like, excuse us, we need one of your controllers for a PR showcase.
And they're like, oh yeah, sure. We got warehouses full of them.
Yeah. We'll just be like, we're definitely going to play it. We swear. All right. Anyways, Iron Harvest. That's Iron Harvest for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Good heavens.
Those puppies, they're getting wrestling today.
Birdie is really excited about Iron Harvest. WRC 9. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC comes out September 3rd. Doraemon, Story of Seasons? That's confusing. Comes out on September 4th for PlayStation 4. I'm going to have to look that up. Doraemon is like the super old school blue catfish dog thing from like one of the world's oldest anime. Do you know what Doraemon is?
I do not.
I think that that's the right thing I'm thinking of, and if I'm not, sorry. Anyways, on September 4th, we have Marvel's Avengers for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC. We also have, don't do it, people. We also have NBA 2K21. I'm begging you not to buy into the scam. Sports games are a scam. That's up for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Paradise Killer for Switch and PC, September 4th as well. And here's one that people might actually be excited about. Not that you wouldn't be excited about Doraemon Story of Seasons, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The remakes, remasters, I don't know how they're classifying these. Those are out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC September 4th. And that rounds out the next week. Very
cool, very cool. So like I said at the intro, we are going to be doing a recap of some of our favorite announcements and reveals, or just more updates that we got from the opening night and of Gamescom 2020 that took place on August 27th. So it was an interesting one because like I feel like the whole news cycle and releases and all that stuff has been obviously thrown off greatly this year because of all the pandemic stuff. But it's kind of interesting that we just got the Xbox Game Showcase. Not too long before that, we had this Sony State of Play, and we got the Ubisoft Forward much later than like what they normally would have been, because obviously like E3 didn't happen and stuff like that. So it's interesting then that Gamescom comes so quickly on the heels of all those things, because I kind of feel like we're getting some new stuff, we're getting some reveals, but a lot of it is mostly just more updates on games we've already been seeing. But that still though doesn't mean that we got some great news. Like, did you see the new gameplay trailer for the extended gameplay trailer for Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart?
Of course I did. It was one of the very few games that I really cared about.
That game continues to just look amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is so going to come back to bite me in the ass, but I feel like part of me is like, how can it go wrong? Like, how can you possibly F up Ratchet and Clank? Because it's such a, not necessarily simple game, but it's such a streamlined game in its like historic design.
Right.
So it's like I just don't think that you can really mess that up too much, as long as you don't touch its soul. As long as you
don't
keep
touch
that
its core formula. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from everything it's seen, it looks like it's going to be doing that, and it just looks like it's going to be so fun.
Yeah, I mean, the only things that people want from Ratchet and Clank, I think probably both old and new, sweet new weapons, silly new jokes, and like just fast-paced platforming action. That's really all anybody wants.
And it looks like
for Mr. Zarkon to come back. I love Mr. Zarkon.
Yes, Mr. Zarkon will show you pain. Yes, I love that. That was so great.
What a good friend.
And then, what was probably one of the biggest things that came out of this that you were like, man, this is exciting, or this is some fun news?
Well, probably one of the only new, like brand new things that I thought, okay, that actually looks kind of interesting, was one of the first games that they showed off from like the first night of Gamescom, Unknown 9 Awakening.
Yes.
I'm guessing you saw that trailer.
I did.
So this was one of the very few that I was like, okay, maybe. So I do think it's funny that all of a sudden video games are realizing that the like mystery-based games with ghostly shadow forms of people
very
and like
much
solving mysteries is very in, which is so funny because, oh my god, what was that like very loosely based Lovecraftian game that I played a couple of years back?
Sinking City?
Oh, it's gonna kill me. Not the Sinking City. You know what? I can't remember it right now.
I know what you're talking about, and the name's on the tip of my tongue.
Like
I can't place it.
And I'm sure that this game isn't going to be quite like that. It just cracks me up that like that very specific formula of like, hey, here's some ghostly figures that are going to help you solve a mystery. It's like, bitch, that was a trend 6 years ago. Why are we back here?
It's like that meme from Zoolander where Will Ferrell's like, so hot right now.
So hot. It really is.
Ghostly figures, so hot right now.
It's so hot right now. That's hysterical. But
no,
yeah, so
I thought it looked
ghostly
really cool
figures
too.
for mystery are making a comeback, which I'm fine with. I love that. So Unknown 9 Awakening appears to follow a young girl who she is named in this article, but I don't think she was named in the trailer itself. So this claims that her name is, by the way, I'm getting this from an article on Destructoid.com. So it says that Unknown 9 Awakening is a game about a woman, so woman being like an adult, which is counter to the trailer.
Right.
Raised on the streets of Kolkata, which is in India, and haunted by visions of her own death. And I thought that was really cool because it confirmed what my initial impression from the trailer was. So I was like, I think she done been dead already. So that's true. So it's going to be this character confronting her own death, and it says that you can manipulate the unseen. Ooh. Using a hidden dimension called the Fold. So this is all information that I don't think you would have gotten from the trailer itself. But I don't really care. I love mystery solving. I like ghostly figures. Looks cool to me.
Yeah, it did look really great. And I think the one thing too about it, I didn't think it was necessarily that it was more ghostly figures. I took from the trailer that it was like she could manipulate time or see the future kind of thing. Like because like in the trailer, that boy chasing her, it tries to hit her with that stick, and she activates her ability, and then at everything, which she seemed, as the young girl in the trailer, didn't know she had, and then she was able to see where the future moment as they're all frozen in time, and she was able to avoid it. And so then, I guess that's showing her origin, because then at the end of the trailer, it shows what I'm assuming is her coming back to whatever she hid in the wall. Remember, she was hiding something behind a brick in a wall at the trailer started, and she comes back to it later. And I had a feeling that was her as an adult, even though it didn't show her face or anything.
Yeah,
just showed her hand.
I think I should have confirmed. I think I described her haunted by visions of her own death badly. It does look like, yes, she would have died in this particular scenario, but by using her ability, she was able to get out of it. Mm-hmm. So presumably she is still because she lived to be an adult. But who knows? Maybe she dies. Maybe if you die in the game, you die for real.
That'd be a permadeath thing. That'd be interesting. But I wonder, if it's like if it's almost like, if you fail, you can reverse time kind of thing, and or something like that. I'm very interested about it. But yeah, it looked like a really cool, fun concept. So I was pretty excited. Yeah. That one looked very cool to me too. Of the new stuff that was announced, I thought it was really fun that we got a new, even though I have no history with the series necessarily, but I knew it was an old LucasArts one, the Sam & Max series. That was kind of fun to see that one coming back, getting a brand new VR game in 2020. I was like, that's kind of fun. That's a fun nod to an old series.
As I'm sure you can imagine, my opinions on VR are great.
Yes, yes, I know that you are not a believer of it yet.
Not a believer. So this just, I've never had any attachment to the Sam & Max games at all. Didn't even honestly the name struck a bell. Mm-hmm. But seeing these characters in the trailer, I was like, I don't know. Stranger danger. I don't know these people.
I don't know anything about them. I don't want you on my home console. What are you doing?
So, it's VR, so my floor of caring was already quite low. Mm-hmm. And then it's Sam & Max, which is a game that I frankly just don't have any attachment to at all. So I kind of kept digging into that floor. So my caring level is below sea level at this point. Sorry.
I will say though that even though yes, I know VR is still very much an up and coming thing and still trying to find its footing in gaming. I will say though, I felt like we're starting to see more AAA studio support of it now, because we are getting, they did show off the trailer for the new Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, which is going to be a totally VR game from Respawn. From Respawn Entertainment. So because it's from Respawn, I'm feeling like, man, that's going to be a good game. It's, I believe, on Oculus, going to be an Oculus game. But also very cool to see Return to Medal of Honor. We haven't had a Medal of Honor game since Warfighter, I believe, which is several years ago. So that'll be fun. And that one's going back to the World War II. And then we also, Star Wars Squadrons is going to be completely playable in VR as well, which I think, if there's ever going to be a game that could do it, I feel like that could change your mind on it. I feel like it would be Star Wars Squadrons.
I do appreciate the Star Wars Squadrons. God, struggling with that word. I do appreciate that game specifically being in VR, because that plays more into the flight simulator genre, right? Which I think is just inherently well suited to the potential to be VR. So that one I completely understand. This Sam & Max shiz. Get out of here.
Don't need this.
I'm don't need that. But yeah, for the Squadrons, I totally get it. It probably would be awesome in VR. And as I've said with at least Concrete Genie, I do think that some concepts, some gameplay styles are probably awesome in VR.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to spend the money to buy the equipment to play the VR? Hell no, but I get it.
I'm going to eventually. I'm going to eventually. That's like the one thing I feel like I'm really missing out on right now is some getting able to play some VR. If for nothing else, I just want to play Beat Saber so bad. But
yeah,
so
I get that too.
I'll just have Beat Saber and Star Wars Squadrons, and then I'll just like, cool, good. But no, I am kind of sad that I still haven't been able to really experience this new version of VR and stuff that's been getting so big. But I really want to do that. The other one that I hadn't heard of before, it had been announced before, but I just missed it. I watched the gameplay trailer they showed of Quantum Error. Did you watch that one?
Quantum what now?
Quantum Error? It was just a gameplay. It looks like a solid. I'm very into it because it looks like a strong mix of Doom and Dead Space.
Does that have anything to do? What was that game that came out? Quantum Break. Is that any relation to Quantum Break?
Different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But different game. But yeah. So it looks very much like it looks like it's in space, and it looks like you're going to be fighting demons or some kind of, mutated human, like zombie-esque kind of stuff. So it looks and it takes place in space. It looks very much like it's very heavily inspired by Dead Space, influenced by Dead Space. I was about to
say this, like looking at just some of the stills that I'm looking at now, this looks like Dead Space. So,
but then some of the weapons and everything are more Doom. So, because Dead Space. Have you played Dead Space? I don't remember.
If I'm not, Dead Space is much more on I have not played Dead Space, but it's more on the side of like horror survival. Yes. So it's pretty pared down and not quite the wild high octane action of Doom, I don't think.
Right, exactly. So again, you have like the creepiness and the scary factor, the horror factor, I think, of Dead Space, but then you have the more high octane gunplay and stuff of Doom. So I think I'm very interested in it. I think that looks like that one's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I get that. I'm always so torn about certain types of horror games because if it's more like a adventure type horror game and less a shooter type horror game, I'm more likely to be on board because both the stress of the horror and then also you have to like be good at action on the side. That's where I stop being good.
Oh, Dead Space kicked my ass.
I can handle the horror as long as I'm permitted to just run away.
Yeah.
Just let me turn tail and run.
Shut a door.
I'll be fine. Just close the door, not confront your fears. I just want to go straight around the place.
Let's see.
Quantum actually looks pretty cool. I will watch the trailer after this. It's just one that I guess I missed. Maybe I was making coffee at the time.
Yeah, never heard. The announcement of it is escaping my mind of when it was actually announced, but it has my attention now.
It's coming from a developer and publisher. Team Kill Media LLC, which, not gonna lie, I can't think of like knowing anything that they've done off the top of my head.
So a nice little indie game. That's fun.
It looks like they have done one other game, Kings of Lorne, the fall of Ebris in 2019. So yeah, they're kind of new. Interesting.
Right. Very cool. Be checking that out. We will watch their career with great interest.
Indeed.
But then I think the other announcement that was very exciting is, of course, we got our first sneak peek or first look at season 2 of Fall Guys, which is still a while away. Like it's going to be a bit, but my Lord Jarrett is going to get to reign supreme because it is medieval themed, and I knew you were going
to love this. The minute I saw it, I was like, oh my God, there's already a crown in it. Jarrett's like emoji is a crown. He loves medieval stuff. I knew you were going to love this. And I love it because that little Viking and that little dragon.
The dragons? Oh my God.
Cute.
So cute. Oh, little wizards too with the big hats and everything. Oh, I'm so excited. But so we're getting some new games, some obviously new skins, just everything's going to be great. It just Fall Guys continuing, which PSA, if you're listening to this in the early morning hours of September 1st when this episode is released, Fall Guys is still for free on PSN until like the update to update the PS Plus games. So you have to have PS Plus. So yeah, if you're listening to this now, go to your computer, go to your console. If you have PS Plus, get Fall Guys for free before it goes away, and the new rotation of games come out. Which the new rotation of games for this month for September are pretty good. It's going to be PUBG, which I'm like, I'm not really going to spend the time there. But now I'm blanking on the other one. Damn it! Why did I bring it up if I'm going to blank on what it is? But
well, let's just pause real quick and try to find it.
Let me see. Giving it a quick Google. PS Plus games September. It is.
Thanks, Google.
Street Fighter 5. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually cool.
That's cool, right?
PUBG FU. Street Fighter 5? Hell yes. Oh, I'll play a Street Fighter game.
I will too.
I'll definitely pick that up.
Yeah, so I'll be grabbing that one for sure. But yeah, so can't wait for Fall Guys Season 2. I think we're still like 30-something days left in Season 1. So we got like a month until that's coming out. But still, super excited to see that for the theme. Really
quick aside, just because now it's on my mind. First of all, of the fighting games that I've ever played in my life, Street Fighter's arguably my worst one. There's something about the mechanics of Street Fighter that just does not compute to my brain. I'm a Tekken player, as you know. And so this is not related to Gamescom, but Tekken did just recently release a trailer for Season 4 of Tekken 7. So if you currently own Tekken 7, that game is not dead. They are still putting out new updates for it. And Bro Mogan and I were going back and forth trying to decide if at the end of that trailer, so part of the Season 4 is going to be every character is getting new moves.
Nice.
Par for the course. Everybody's excited about that. But they, at the very end of the trailer, they teased what might be the return of Kunimitsu, a super not popular character from the Tekken series that Bro Mogan and I love.
Nice.
So Kunimitsu is like this awesome ninja woman, and she has this really long red hair that she keeps in 2 pigtails, and she wears a white. What's the word for fox? It looks like a Ninetales for fox in Japanese. It looks like a Ninetales mask, but I know that that's not.
I'm not
what
sure
it's
either.
Called. Anyways, don't worry about it. Is it? No, never mind. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. The point is, Kunimitsu hasn't been in a Tekken game in so long, like a real one, not one of the weird spin-offs. So if it is actually Kunimitsu, so heckin' excited. She's a ninja. She kind of plays like Yoshimitsu, but very different. She's got like 2 little knives that she stabs you with. She's the best.
Oh man.
Or, because Negan and like a bunch of other, that Final Fantasy guy, Noctis, because a bunch of weird third-party characters keep making it into Tekken, part of me was like, oh no, is it Naruto? Please don't let it be Sasuke from Naruto. I'm sure it's not, but part of me was like, it could be from anything, really. I hope it's Kunimitsu, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high. So anyways, that's your Tekken news that you probably didn't want, but there you go.
But hey, somebody wanted to hear it, I'm sure. But let's see. So I'm already going to say then, should our game night for September be you and I both try to beat each other up in Street Fighter 5?
We can certainly try.
Because I was going to say, fighting games, I wish. That's like the one genre of game that I wish I was good at, but I'm absolute shit. Like, just terrible at it. But I still enjoy them. Like, I played obviously Mortal Kombat games, several Mortal Kombat games, and even the Injustice Gods Among Us, the DC one, that's all DC characters. That one was pretty fun. I enjoyed that one. And then, but like Tekken and Street Fighter, I've probably barely touched, if at all. I'm very down to do some Street Fighter 5.
With Street Fighter, we will be on perfectly even ground.
Perfect.
We will both be absolute butts at it.
So yeah, maybe we should do that one. Let's watch us fail at Street Fighter 5.
Watch us miserably fail and like not even be able to kill each other and just get timed out with the system. That's happened before.
I mean, it would be a great time. I'm sure we'd get booed out of the arenas, but still, it might be. It's worth trying for sure. So, what were then some of the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So just real quickly, I got so sidetracked, but circling back very briefly to Fall Guys because we got on the PS Plus, and we got sidetracked. In addition to all these cute new costumes, maybe you already said this, but there's going to be new levels that are more medieval themed, and I think that's really awesome too.
Which it looked like too from the gameplay trailer. You're going to be able to actually move some of the obstacles now. Like it looked like ramps you can grab. Blocks. Yeah, there are more blocks things, which that's either going to be a really great thing or a really terrible thing, depending on how the groups you get into. So I don't
I'm a
know.
little
That's going to be fun
worried.
to see. It's going to be fun to see. And also too, I think that's great that they are adding new games and things like that to keep the freshness of it. Cause I mean, all the matches are great and I'm still trying to master some of them. I feel like I finally have a good strategy for Seesaw. So when I see Seesaw come up now, I don't curl into a fetal position and cry, but like eventually those would get old. So it's great that they're still going to keep it fresh with new courses and new games for us to be playing through.
So something that may not have been just immediately apparent to me is the concept that once these season 2 levels come out, the season 1 levels are going to be out of rotation.
That's a very good question. And I honestly don't know, but I feel like that's a lot. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
a
they showed
lot.
off two, maybe 3 new courses. And like there are 24 mini games in season 1. I seriously doubt they're going to recreate 24 new games for every season because that would be
Yeah, I think you're right.
that's a new game at that point. I would feel like.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're just
Just
add-ons, and that each
part
season
of
will
me
just
was
show.
just thinking like, well, if they want to like keep with the theme, if they want to be
Yeah.
very on brand for fall,
maybe they like update the look of them to make them look more medieval themed, and maybe they just rotate out some games. Maybe that's how they
yeah,
handle
maybe
it.
so.
So, but
Anyways, either way,
super
we're
exciting.
both really excited about it. I can't wait to be a cute little Viking,
'Cause
assuming that I'm good enough to be able to win more coins, crowns, to be able to buy them. I have 0 crowns right now because I spent my only 2.
What'd you buy?
The parrot costume.
Oh, we didn't buy
Because
that.
I do like being a silly parrot.
We bought the only crown we bought the tomato head skin
Oh,
because that
gotcha.
one was pretty fun.
No, wait. I bought the parrot with the regular money, like kudos or whatever. I
Hmm.
bought the flower. I think the flower pot's
Oh, I haven't
really
seen
cute.
the flower. I'll have to check that. I'll have to
Flower's
see if that one
darn
comes back
handsome.
up into the shop. So, any of the other like newer stuff that you were seeing, or should we move into some of the older stuff we already known about, but like the updates?
Yeah, well, I guess it is both older and newer, so I also don't really care that much about this game. But World of Warcraft is getting some sweet new content
Mhm.
for their Shadowlands, and that's actually coming out pretty soon, October 27th. So, of everything that we've seen, World of Warcraft is getting one of the closest updates. So, people might be really excited about that. I'm still kind of amazed that World of Warcraft is still so big,
Right?
but it feels like at this point it's almost like underground big because nobody talks about it that much, but people are definitely still playing that
Oh,
game.
it's still a powerhouse for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely is still getting a lot of attention and everything like that. Destiny 2 is also getting another update, I know, and they're going to be getting more new powers like stasis abilities and things like that. So people in the Destiny 2 world be looking forward to that update as well. But I think the one game, we'll go ahead and talk about this one now, I think, because
The big one.
the big one. We'll go ahead and do the big update because it has been radio silence on this game for so long. So I was so happy that we finally got an update on Dragon Age 4.
Yeah, and it was actually like it's not anything super concrete that we could be like, oh, it's definitely going to be X, Y, Z in this,
Right.
but it is better than nothing.
Exactly. And it gave us some, like, even though we didn't see finalized gameplay, you saw a lot of like in development gameplay, like very
Yeah, a lot of
bare
concept
bones concept art, which the concept art, give me that
Looks
art
great.
book. Give me
Yeah,
that art
right?
book. That's
God,
like,
can you imagine? I just want to be able to trace them.
I know. That's like my secondary thing that I've started collecting a lot more of and getting a lot more of are art books for games and movies and stuff like that. I just love them so
Perfectly
much. It's
understandable.
so cool.
They are beautiful.
To like see the pre-concepts and how that translates into the game. But so they really it was a whole bunch of interviews and sound bites from the development team talking about the differences and like why they're excited about this game. And it looks like it's going to be really different from 1, 2, and 3. Like it looks like they even say it's going to be from the perspective of characters without power. So it's not like your royalty. It's not like your, starting out as a Grey Warden or something like that. You're very much just like the common folk who find the strength of themselves.
Plebeian.
A pleb. But yeah, so that's going to be great. And they talked about there's going to be new worlds, new areas to explore, new architecture, new wildlife, which the wildlife even, like they showed one concept of like almost a mix of a dragon and a T-Rex. Looked very cool. And
it looked very Monster Hunter. I was like, that's just a creature from Monster Hunter.
So
they stole that. It's Capcom. Wait, is it Capcom?
Capcom for which one?
For Dragon Age.
Dragon Age is BioWare.
It's BioWare. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry.
But yeah, so that's going to be great. And then even the one thing though that I think is very interesting, I'm very interested to see how this is going to translate into the gameplay, is that choices you make determine if party members live or die. So does that mean if they
Yeah.
die, they're out of the story and there's no bringing them back?
I really hope it does, because I think that is such a better mechanic. Like, obviously, people are going to find ways to get around it, save states and whatever, probably,
Right.
unless it like insta saves. But I think that makes it so much more fun. I love playing that way. It makes every decision count.
Mm-hmm.
And, if your waifu or husbando dies, I just feel like that's a fun emotional journey for you, the player, to be able to go on.
Well, and I feel like it makes you more invested in your party characters, even in combat, not even in like cinematics and stuff like that. Because I'm very much of, as I play the Dragon Age games, like I try to switch between my characters and party members to have the right attacks. But if one's getting hammered and dies, like I don't like lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? Like in a battle, because as soon as battle's over, they just stand back up and we're good to go. I have to use some potions to heal them back up in BD. But if their death in a fight or the choices I make lead to that character dying, that's what I mean. This is where I'm interested to see where it comes into play. Like if they die in a fight, are they dead then? And you have to go recruit new party members? Or is it choices you make in the game will then later determine through the narrative if they live or die? And is that decision irreversible or not? So that I think is going to be very interesting to see how that plays in a big, huge RPG like what Dragon Age is going to be. So I'm excited about that. That is very fun.
Yeah, this is also a bit of a spoiler. So if you haven't seen any of this Dragon Age stuff, just tune out right now. I don't think we had seen this before, that with Dragon Age 4, one of the key conflicts, it appears, is going to be against Solos.
Mm-hmm.
So had that been, was that public information before now? I feel like it wasn't.
I don't know if it was. I think, a lot of that comes from, I still haven't finished Inquisition. So I didn't know how those all wrapped up. But that game came out in 2014. So like, obviously I've picked up things and I know that something happens in that story where Solas becomes bad, I believe. And so I think maybe it's just like, yes, still continuing on him as like a villain and stuff like that. So it definitely made me want to be like, well, shit, I have to finish Inquisition now. Like I have to finish Inquisition before this comes back, before this comes out. But also, because all we're seeing were this kind of like still in development gameplay and mostly concept art, this game's like, I'm thinking still 2 years away, maybe
easily.
3. Like it's gonna be a bit before we actually get to play this one. But that's fine. I'm still excited about it.
Yeah, I do certainly have high hopes for this. I really just want Dragon Age to succeed because I know how super invested Dragon Age community and Dragon Age fans are. So I'm really hoping that it does like meet all of their expectations and their wildest dreams. But BioWare's had a couple of missteps in the recent past, so Anthem. We can't make any assumptions.
I saw on Reddit a picture somebody took of Anthem in Walmart on a Walmart shelf, and it was for sale for $1.
Oh, scam!
Yeah, it made me sad. Yeah, but that was kind of the thing that I was hoping. We got this Dragon Age 4 news, which was awesome. I really would kind of hope though that they would have said something about the Anthem reboot that they're doing.
It's dead.
No. It's not dead. They have definitely come back and said like we're gonna get Anthem 2.0. I'm just like, which I will say, like I know we've talked very publicly on the show about how much the problems we have with Anthem. But if as soon as Anthem 2.0 drops, I am for sure jumping back in that game because I want to love it so much.
See, I can't because I already sold my copy, and God knows I'm not going to get.
Go to Walmart then and buy it for $1.
That's a good point. It's $1. Oh man,
jump back on that hype train.
I guess it doesn't matter, but like we'll watch the 2.0 come out and then suddenly the world's greatest game and the price skyrockets to $80 for used copies and you're like, well shit.
I know, playing for the future now.
Oh man. So anyways, the point is, both with Dragon Age and with BioWare in general, I would love to see just a return to form. So I'm really crossing my fingers that this is a success. So but we're not going to know for many years probably. No. So let's all just sit back down and comfortably warm our hands under our own butts while we wait.
Absolutely. Let's see. So Doom Eternal also, they had announced this before, but we got a little bit more on the Old Gods DLC that's going to be coming out on October 20th, which is great. Damn you, computer, sign me out of my iCloud notes. Get back to that. All right. So the Ancient Gods Part 1 is going to be coming out on October 20th. And I mean, it's just more Doom. So yeah, I'll play that for sure.
It's just more Doom.
It looks like we're going to be getting more elite demons. Like, because in Doom Eternal, you fought the Con Maker and you got really to like the upper hierarchy of hell and everything. And so it looks like you're going to be fighting more of those elite leader demons like that. There is this huge, gigantic monster that it looks like you're going to have to fight at one point in this. But the thing that scared me the most about this trailer is that it showed you having to fight 2 marauders at one time.
Gasp.
Heavens,
I know what that means,
to
probably.
Betsy. Yeah.
Heavens to Betsy.
You have to fight 2 of these dudes.
Yeah, there he is. I knew that.
And they are so hard just with one of them. I cannot imagine having to fight 2 of them. So that part, I was like, damn it, that's going to be scary and hard. So I'm very excited about that, though. More Doom is always a great thing. And what about you? What was another game that we got updates on that you were pretty psyched about?
I mean, honestly, that was kind of all of it.
Okay.
I will say that in general, I feel like this was not a super impactful.
Well, that's what I mean.
Gamescom.
Like, I feel like it was it came at an odd time. Like we're kind of
Yeah.
our news and updates and everything got thrown through the ringer like everything else did this year. And so I think just like it's great that Gamescom was still able to happen and they kept it going. But
yeah, because it was all virtual.
It is
if we didn't already say that.
Right. But the nice thing is, so it is more of just like, here are more updates on these things that we already knew about. But I guess the last 2 things that I was pretty hyped for where we got to see the story trailer for Star Wars Squadrons, which looks, again, the fact that there hasn't been a dedicated Star Wars dogfighting game like this since the early 90s with X-Wing and TIE Fighter and stuff like that. Or like even, well, this seems more like a true return to form. I know there were the Rogue Squadron games on like GameCube and stuff like that, but like one of the hardcore space combat that we got in the TIE Fighter and X-Wing games from the early 90s, I think this is looking like it's a return to that style. And we got tastes of it in Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, the new versions of it and all that stuff. But I'm still super excited for just a hardcore dedicated. This is all you're doing is just flying in starships and taking part in the epic space battles that Star Wars is known for. Because I hold that Star Wars does space battle and has the look of them better than anything else. So it's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to jump into the cockpits of both the Imperial and New Republic starfighters. And it's really cool too, because like in this story trailer, you got to see Wedge Antilles pops up and I was like, yeah, my man Wedge, he's back. And Hera Syndulla from Rebels. She pops up too. So I'm like, this is awesome that they're bringing in these characters from the shows and the movies and stuff like that and bringing them into this game, giving them more screen time, getting us to get more time with those characters. I'm super stoked. And I'm putting out the call, everybody. I need a squadron. I need people to squad up because it's 5v5 and it's going to be best if you have a team. And I need that team. So I'm looking for pilots. Let's do this, everybody, because it's going to be...
I'm going to go on ahead and unnominate
Mogan, join
myself.
Damn it.
No, thank you.
So
as you're talking, like, and mentioning all these characters, I'm like, yeah, definitely people.
Yeah, I know those people. I know those people. But no, so I'm going to be down to spend some hours in Squadrons, and so I can't wait for that game to come out. About a month away, really. October 2nd is when that game is launching.
Yeah.
For $40 too. So I mean, pick it up, people.
That'd be nice.
Let's go.
Just sort of as you were talking, I was kind of thinking, like, the sort of resource management games like your Stardew Valleys and your Spiritfarers. I think it would be pretty fun to have a Star Wars game where you're a total nobody, just like a space junker or somebody, and it's just a pure resource management game.
That would be amazing, and I would play it.
Why actually don't they have that? Because that seems like a really easy concept.
I know. I'm trying to think if there has been something similar. I mean, there have been like real-time strategy games like Empire at War and stuff like that were a lot of fun. But no, like I can't.
Daily life.
But no, I know what you mean. I don't
collect scrap.
I don't think there
growing
are
space vegetables? Question mark. I don't know what they eat in Star Wars.
I would be absolutely.
Lettuce
I would absolutely
bread.
play this. I would
Be
absolutely
anything.
play this game. Let's pitch this to EA. Let's see what they can do.
EA, good God.
They have the contract. It has to be. It has to be with EA for a while. So let's see what they can do.
Maybe it could be a blatant ripoff of Star Wars, and it could be like space battles and a resource management game. I don't know.
Just call it Spaceballs and just make it all the Spaceballs characters.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's probably a better idea.
But then, so other Star Wars news that came out of Gamescom though is that Star Wars characters will be coming to The Sims 4. So I guess I got to play The Sims 4 now. Get
really
that sweet content card.
It's not necessary.
You really don't. Stop.
You don't have to do that. Just stop.
And then finally, the last big thing that I want to talk about was that we did get to see the opening cinematics and stuff like that for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which is going to be the new installment for this year. Going back, I think that's a good move for Black Ops to go back to kind of the setting that it came from. It went way into left field, I think, with Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. And so it's good to see it returning to form. Granted, we're not going back to the 60s where it started. We will be taking place in 1980s. So in the trailer for it, or in the cinematic, you're having a briefing and it shows that we're getting the characters of Hudson and Woods are going to be back. We got to see Ronald Reagan, so he's there in all of his CGI glory now. It's for better or worse. So it looks like you're going to be trying to hunt down the Russian spy Perseus, who is trying to orchestrate a possible nuclear attack. So, it looks like it'll be interesting.
My only hope for this game is that because it takes place in the 80s, it'll have a rock and synthwave soundtrack.
Oh man, I hope it does too.
That's all I want.
I hope it does too. But the nice thing about the Black Ops game is they've always been centered around like a mystery, and it's like there are like these weird, like, in the earlier ones, there were some like flashback stuff going forward, flash forwards, flashbacks, and just they are really good about building a mystery story, I feel like, and really kind of keeping that under wraps until you get through the later periods and see what is actually at the source of all these happenings. And so I feel like they always have a really interesting storyline. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get back to the more grounded gameplay of the original Black Ops, because the first Black Ops game was an outstanding Call of Duty title. So I'm very excited to get back into that. It looks like it's going to have some player choice through dialogue options, and that will affect the overall narrative of the story. So that's very cool to see some of that coming into Call of Duty as well. And you're actually going to have character customization for your nameless silent protagonist. So I think that's very cool too. To be able to have all of that. So,
but Jarrett, will it have the season's hottest new thing? Ghostly figures?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past it because I feel like in the first one, you're like seeing these numbers in your head and like trying to figure out what all these numbers that keep like flashing before your eyes. It's like, what does all this mean? And so, yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if there's a cutscene where you're seeing like some ghostly figures.
Oh man, that's so hot right now.
It's so hot right now. But yeah.
Oh my God, Jarrett, I'm going to think about that joke for like the rest of the week.
I'll just send you the meme every day. I'll just ping it to you on the Discord, text it to you. Just be like, it's so hot right now. But
I gotta rewatch Zoolander.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie too. It's definitely due for a rewatch. But yes, that Black Ops Cold War will be launching in November, so coming up soon. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think if you didn't really have any other big updates or thing that really struck your fancy from Gamescom, that's pretty much the list I had.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome.
So some stuff's coming out.
A lot of stuff coming out.
I have to say about it.
Games are good. Games are great, and we can't wait to get our hands on all these and get to spend some time in these worlds. But if there were games at Gamescom that you were super excited about, you want to let us know your thoughts on Ratchet and Clank Rifts Apart, Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods, which that's a great name for DLC, I gotta say. Fall Guys Season 2, Star Wars Squadrons, any of those things, let us know by sending us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or commenting on our social media, the episodes themselves, on YouTube, all that great stuff. Let us know, because we would love to, on our Discord, let us know, because we would love to hear your thoughts on all those things. But until next time, everybody, I'm one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined through the power of the internet by my co-host, Rachel Mogan.
Peace out.
We'll see you all next time.